Hi, welcome to Real Talk. We're your hosts,
I'm Rob.
and I'm Sarah. Please join us as we discuss the swinging lifestyle. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for tuning into our show. We want to welcome you to our third podcast. Tonight's episode is going to be about meeting people. Last week, our show kind of ran a little bit over, and Rob thought he had missed some websites, and so he's going to go ahead and fill you on a few more websites.
Welcome, everybody. So, I did leave out two websites that I wanted to share with you guys. The first one being Cassidy.com, and that's spelled K-A-S-S-I-D, or no, I'm sorry, it's K-A-S-S-I-D-E.com, Cassidy.com. The other one is a worldwide site. It's called SDC, and it's just www.sdc.com. That is a worldwide site, and it is popular on the West Coast, the East Coast, and seems to be very popular down south as well. So those are some good sites to check out with the ones we left off on from last time. So enjoy them and check them out and see what you think.
Okay, this evening we're going to go over meeting do's and don'ts. A lot of times when swingers first get into the lifestyle, they tend to want to play with, for the first time, somebody they know. We have done that before, and I guess you have to decide if it's a good idea or not. We've had people that have played with friends, had a great relationship with them, had a great run, and it didn't affect the friendship or make anything weird between them. But then, me personally, we played with a neighbor, and after that, anytime we saw that person, the exchanges were awkward, and it just wasn't the same as it was before we had played with them. So it's up to you to decide if you want somebody or you trust somebody that you know to bring in the bedroom with you. Like I said, it can have effect on your friendship, and you guys may not be close afterwards or even talk. So just kind of weigh whether it's worth it or not. Okay, we're going to start getting into, after you've set up a profile and you've talked to somebody and you decided that you want to meet up with them. The first place you probably should meet up with somebody, and it's up to you, but we always say that on your first meeting you should probably meet them in a public place, like bar or restaurant, go out for coffee or something, and just where there are other people around.
Yeah, I agree with that. Excuse me. Meeting people out in public gives you the opportunity to sit and talk and get to know that person, to see if you guys are going to click. So there are many different avenues on places to go. Obviously, you want to be a little bit intimate with where you're sitting and talking. It's kind of noisy and distracting to do it at dinner, but it can be done. Or going and having a drink at a bar in a nice, quiet, intimate setting might be a good place. And then there's those that decide they want to go to a club, a lifestyle club, and that'll give them a place to sit and talk and enjoy the atmosphere as well.
The next thing I'm going to tell you is, when you meet these people, dress to impress. You want them to be interested, think you're sexy. Don't show up in sweatpants, pajama pants, or, look nice. Dress for the occasion, wherever you're going, but always at least attempt to dress up when you're meeting people. They're not going to sleep with you or even take you seriously if you do not take the time. They think you just don't care. So make sure that when you pick out your outfit, make sure that you're sexy. It doesn't have to be a super revealing, but just make sure that, you would look like you were going out to a nice dinner or something.
Yeah, you want to make that first impression last with the people that you're meeting.
And I know every swinger has a story where they met somebody that didn't look presentable. We had one couple tell us that they met a couple and she showed up in sweatpants, no makeup on. I mean, if you want them to find you attractive, you have to put a nice presentation out. Okay, the other thing that we're going to talk about is when you have set up the meeting, you've picked out the place, and the person says, well, we'll be there about 7:30, and you're waiting, and nothing. They don't respond to any of your emails, texts, whatever, like they've dropped off the planet, or they'll call maybe after they're running like a half an hour behind, they'll send you a text or email and say, oh, by the way, we can't make it. Here's the thing with that. Everybody has had an emergency situation come up, or with us ladies, the monthly period happens. So, I mean, there are good reasons that if you've said you're going to meet somebody and you have to cancel. The thing is, don't do it often because people won't want to meet you, because it'll get around the swing community that they've played with you or tried to play with you and you've canceled on them numerous times. So that's going to really ruin your chances of getting with somebody else. Also, if it's your first meeting and you do have cold feet, it's best to be upfront and honest with the people that you're going to meet. Tell them, say, I don't think I can do it right now. Or I'm not at the place where, I want to meet somebody just yet.
Right.
Just be honest with them.
Yes. Don't just not show up. Like Sarah says, just go ahead and let them know. I'm really, my first time, I'm scared to show up and meet you. I thought I could go through with it, but I can't. It's better to cancel and let them people know that you're going to meet, that's what happened, instead of just letting them sit there and waste their time waiting on somebody that's not going to show up. And it could be a thing where, yes, you get cold feet that first time, and you can replan. Hey, they're going to understand, so you can always replan to meet up the following week or in a couple weeks. It gives you a little bit more opportunity to talk online with the parties that you're going to meet as well. So maybe you feel a little more comfortable by then.
And if you do have to cancel because something has come up, let them know as soon as you know. That way it'll give them enough time to plan something else, or, that way they're not showing up at a place that you're not going to be able to make. So, just be courteous and let them know as soon as you know. Okay.
What's next on the agenda?
The next thing is you're meeting with the couple and you're talking to them and you're not feeling it, or
I love
you
this
find
one.
the couple extremely obnoxious. There's always, it does happen. Always have an out. Because otherwise you're going to be stuck for a couple hours with people you just can't stand. So always have like a safe word, or our babysitter called, we have to go home, or our older kid just called, one of our kids are sick. Use the excuse if you can't really just tell the people, hey, I don't think we're really clicking here and this isn't working. So if you don't have the guts to do that, then make sure you have an out story so you can leave if you have to. We There are other ways for uh, meeting people other than in a public place. There are. Oh, wait, no, you know what? Okay, I had more on that. I'm sorry. Um, the next thing you're going to want to do is start with small talk. Whether are you from Omaha or wherever city you're from. Just start with small talk because you don't want to jump right into, so what are you looking to get out of this tonight? I mean, you want to show the people that you do have some interest in them and their feelings, not, I just want to get in bed with you. So,
Or you could be pretty witty if you want and say, "Oh, I was looking at your picture, so is that really your dick?"
okay. Um, and then when you feel that enough time has passed in the conversation, then you can move on to, what is it you want out of this experience, he, she, they, and when you're talking to these people, be honest too. If this is just, hey, we're not playing tonight, we just want to meet somebody right now, be honest about it. Don't feel that you have to do anything because you've told these people you're going to meet them. So, you're gonna want to have to. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Okay.
I don't think we were too prepared for this show tonight.
No.
We kind of threw everything together. We had a lot of stuff going on.
The next thing is hosting. Like I said, it's always great to meet in a public place. And it's up to your comfort level if you want to bring these people back to your home or not, or if you'd rather get a hotel room. If you're the one that has decided to meet somebody or you set it up with them, it's probably a good idea for you to host. You want to meet them, so if nothing else, if you can't host at your home or you don't want to, you can always get a hotel room.
And you could split the cost
Yeah.
between both couples. If you're in agreement and you want to move to that area that quickly, that's completely up to you. But don't feel that you can't say, hey, would you guys mind covering half the cost? Because, you're both there willingly, so you both can do that. Unless you want to be, the nice person and say, oh, we'll take care of it, no problem. There's a lot of people willing to do that as well.
Okay. Next thing we're going to get into is there are, like I was saying, there are other ways to meet people other than in a public place. A lot of cities and swing communities have swing parties at people's houses. And that's how we started out. As I told you guys in the first show, is at that time when we got into it, there really wasn't anything but house parties. So I wish I would have had somebody tell me some of this stuff first, though, before I went to my first party. The one thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to speak to the host or the hostess, before you attend. That way you can find out from them if you need to bring anything or what the donation is. Some of these house parties, they require that you give like maybe a $10 donation. And a lot of times, because at these parties they have snacks and, they'll provide soda and stuff, so it's basically, they charge that to offset the cost of the food and stuff like that. And then, like I said, ask if you can bring anything, or also ask if they're going to have liquor there, or if you need to bring your own.
Most of them are bring your own.
Bring your own, yeah. But we went to one where they had, like, beer.
Yeah.
So like I said, just ask some questions before you attend. Other thing you might want to ask, I've been to parties where they had little bowls of condoms in the room, and I've been to them where they didn't. So ask if they are providing condoms, or if you have to bring about with you.
And if you prefer a certain brand of condom, it's always best to bring your own. And lubrications as well, or uh, sex toys, you can always bring, a bag full of goodies with you and use those at your leisure.
Then you're also going to want to ask what kind of atmosphere the parties are. Um, are they mainly couples? Do they have single females that come, single males that might attend, if that's your thing? Also ask if it's a good mix of age ranges. That way, you're not going to be only 20-year-old or 23-year-old in a room full of people that are 50.
Right.
So,
And don't be surprised though if you contact some of the clubs and they tell you, "I'm sorry, we can't give you out the number of people attending." They do that for safety and discretion reasons. Uh, but just know that, you know, these clubs, you're going to have a good time there, and there will be people there for you to meet.
the other thing you're going to want to get is the address and some decent directions. The last thing you want to do is show up at the wrong house. So make sure you Google that beforehand and you have the directions and address. Um, the other thing is, even though you're at these parties, you don't, or even meeting people, you don't have to play with anybody you don't want to, and you don't need to feel pressure to play. It's perfectly. A lot of couples don't play on a first meeting. It's perfectly acceptable to say, hey, I just wanted to get to know you a little bit before we do anything. So don't. Oh, and the other thing is, don't take one for the team. If you're both not interested in the person, then don't play. There's been a few times where I wasn't necessarily clicking with the guy, and I wasn't really feeling him, or I wasn't attracted to him, but my husband seemed to be very interested in the wife, and the wife was really attractive, and you know, I know he wants to sleep with her. So a lot of times people will sleep with the person that they're not attracted to, so their significant other can get with the one they want. Well, I can tell you right now, it's a huge letdown for you at the end of the night, because of course you're not going to have any fun, and it's also a huge regret, because there'll be times I couldn't believe I did that, and you start to feel pressure to participate all the time, and if you're not feeling it, don't do it. Okay, and then the next place to meet, now I don't know about, your cities, but in Omaha they tend to have things called hotel parties. Basically they're called hotel takeovers, where a swing club or would rent out the hotel for a party. I'm going to let actually Ron on this one, because I'm going to have him talk about some of that.
Yeah, so they have these hotel takeovers, and you really want to watch out. Hotel takeovers have never really been our thing, just because we've been to a couple of them, and we went to one on New Year's Eve, and we were back in our room by 11 o'clock. We didn't even stay for the New Year's ball drop or anything like that. It just seemed that, to us anyway, it seemed very cliquey.
Yeah.
And it was very hard to get around to meet and talk to people. You could tell that there was nervous people that were sitting at tables by themselves. Then you'd have a big group of people that all knew each other. They were all sitting at another table, and you didn't get a very welcoming vibe. And for us, we just didn't feel
like we fit in.
Right, exactly. There just wasn't a lot of people connecting and things like that. Now, that's not to say that if you're really outgoing that you're going to have problems like that. Then again, you may. It depends on the people that are there at these hotel takeovers. And then you really need to watch out because they may claim that it's a complete hotel takeover and it ends up not being the case. And you may see people walking down a hallway that are naked, and then all of a sudden here you see a family with kids in tow walking down the hallway, and you've got some lady that you met and she's butt naked running out of a bedroom, running down the hallway. That just, to us, it just wasn't a good fit for us. Then, I mean, the hotel takeovers can be fun, but like I said, they need to be done right. They need to be done proper, and to avoid things like that. But a lot of the people that do those events, instead of coming out and saying, "Hey, we didn't fill the hotel, we're going to cancel it," they'll still go ahead and do the party. And that's when you run into the problems with running into family members, or not family members, but you'll see families coming down a hallway or something, and that just was not a good thing. Then you'll have bars that have what they call meet and greets. Those can be good. You can get in a group and show up and meet people and have a good time. Other times you'll go to these bars and they have meet and greets, and it'll be not only a mix of singles and swingers, it'll be regular people, what we call vanillas in the lifestyle. That just means people are not into the lifestyle, and they'll mix them. So you have to watch things like that as well.
The if this is something you want to do, it's something you do have to plan in advance. These things do fill up fast, and the rooms do fill up fast. So if you want to participate, you need to talk to the people that are throwing the party, so you can find out what hotel you need to go to. Or, also you need to decide if you want to book a room or not. So, ask questions. How much is the room? You're going to want to, ask if the floors are going to be secure. Like he said, there have been instances at some of these hotels where young kids were running around and you had naked people in the hallway.
And don't think you have to book a room if you don't want to. A lot of times these will be held in the ballrooms, and they'll have bands or DJ or whatever. So you can just go, but you're going to have to pay the cover fee. Now, you can get a room as well, but that's going to be a separate cost than just going to the event itself. So you'll pay for the room, then you have to pay for entry into the party itself, and then you'll have to cover your alcohol that you're buying your drinks throughout the night as well. So these are some of the charges you're going to incur going to these hotel takeovers.
You're also going to ask, is there any rules for the event? Anything we need to know? And also ask if there's going to be security at the event. And if there's going to be a bar. Most of them have bars, of course. Most of them will provide one in the actual event. So, but, ask what a general drink price is going to run. I mean, stuff like that. So, well, folks, we've come to the end of our show. So, we would like to thank you and tune in next week. Next week's going to be a little different. We are going to have some guests who are going to join us. They're people who have been in the lifestyle for a long time, and so they're going to share their experiences with you. So, well, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Have a good evening.